Hello, just a short video showing how we made a door stop for the sliding door on our Winnebago Revel out of some cheap and easily available stuffs, namely a piece of 1/2 inch by 1/16 bar stock aluminum and a little bit of glue. Here you see Karen puzzled by how to keep the door open on an incline on the van. So it'll stay open all the way, but she wants to keep it part way because it's windy or whatever reason. And there's a hill, so she has no idea how to make that work. So that's a piece of the aluminum bar stock, just a picture for scale of what it looks like. So again, it's a 1/2 inch by 1/16. And then what you can see here is I'm using a belt sander, and you could use a belt sander or if you had a grinder on the bench or just a hand file, probably safer than what I'm doing here, to kind of grind down a long beveled edge. And the beveled edge to have the roller roll up on the aluminum bar stock, about a 1/2 inch long down to about nothing. So that's just so the roller will roll up on the piece of aluminum easily. And then what I'm doing here is I did it on the belt sander, but then just kind of finalizing it with a hand file. And the aluminum's really soft, so a hand file works fine. You can get it down pretty good. And then the other end of the aluminum, which is what I'm going to show next here, is I just kind of beveled it a little bit on about a 45, and that's the part. So on one end, the roller needs to roll up on the piece of aluminum easy, and then on the other end, and you can kind of see the roller ends up between those two pieces to kind of hold it in your stop point. The other end, I just kind of bevel a little 45-degree angle here to be able to hold it in place. And this is the initial shaping, and we'll kind of show pictures at the end of the video that kind of shows the final finished product. It ended up probably a little less than a 45-degree angle on the end that holds the roller in place. So the part that has where the roller sits between the two pieces of aluminum. But we'll show that, and I just kind of finalized it once it was on the van using a hand file. So this next piece, I'm just taking a magic marker and marking the spot on the door track where we want the roller to stop. So that'll just position those two pieces of aluminum that we're going to glue in place. So to have the glue stick, and it's just a mechanical bond with, typically you'd use JB Weld. We didn't have JB Weld, so I used, to quote Jin Wang, new JB Weld, Permatex, which it's the same stuff. It's kind of a gray epoxy, kind of made to bond aluminum. Also took a little bit of acetone to kind of clean up the area so that the glue would stick well. It does get rolled over by the door roller each time. So that's mixing the glue. Doesn't take very much. You're just going to put a thin coat on the two pieces of aluminum and stick them down. You want to make sure the glue's mixed up really well. It's a two-part epoxy, so like any two-part epoxy, you just want to make sure it's one color and it ends up kind of a light gray. I think JB Weld or this Permatex are both kind of a light gray. And like I said, I just smeared a real thin coat on the two pieces. Kind of spread it around with a little plastic spreader. It actually came with the glue. Obviously a popsicle stick or about anything would work for that. Then you'll see kind of where I place it on the van, next to the little mark where we we want the door to stop. Alternatively, we use two pieces of aluminum. So if you wanted and you weren't concerned about the exact spot you had your door, whether you were uphill or downhill, you could just use one piece and have it kind of tapered at both ends. We kind of wanted the door positioned in such a way that it has the opening kind of the right size, and on the Revel, there's a light in the back that we wanted to be exposed when the door's partway open. Bad engineering on Winnebago's part. When you open the door all the way, the porch light is covered by the door and is useless. So with this, we have the door open wide enough for the whole opening going into the van, but still have the porch light work. So that's kind of how we positioned ours, and kind of see me gluing the second one down here. So then just using a little acetone to kind of clean up before the glue dries, get kind of the excess glue that's squeezed out from underneath the 2 aluminum pieces off the van. Easier to get it off now instead of kind of scraping at it or getting it off later. I did leave a little bit right where the edges kind of come into the track on the van because it kind of smooths the transition. And there you can see the final pieces, kind of how they came out. And you can kind of see those tapers that I did are a little smoother than the 45 and kind of the final product. And it just makes it so that when you're closing the door after it's been in the stop, it's a little easier to get it closed. So here you see Karen with the, the van puzzle once more, van on the driveway trying to have the door part open. And it opens easily and stays open part way. And you can see we have a happy Karen.